Good morning everyone. Happy Bank Holiday Monday from the UK. So I hope everybody is enjoying their weekend who's based here, and you're enjoying your weekend anyway. This I'm going to bring you today just sort of painting with different brushes, and I have spoken about different brushes. This one is a round one. Equally, I've got another round one here, and most brushes will have their sizes. This is probably about an 8. This one is a 4, and I've also got a flat brush which paints in a certain direction but also very good. So it's actually quite nice for defining areas of a leaf, and especially if you can't get quite a close edge. So I've got a painting here that started, and you may say, is it true to life? No, it's probably not true to life, but it's the colors I saw at the time with where I took this particular image. And because of lighting, because of daylight, because of the lighting that was in the conservatory that I was doing it from, I decided some of the colors were coming off of other plants, which is why I've got this blue coming in and how the different colors are. So I'm going to show you my palette. I've got a mixture of palettes. There's some undercolors that are dried out now, but I have got the white, blue. I will say I do need a Prussian blue, but unfortunately I don't seem to have that. Something to do on order. But I've got various different other blues. This is an ultramarine blue. I've got System 3 I'm working with. So System 3, as I've mentioned before in other videos, this is a little bit more, well, not more, but thicker. It's thicker paint. And I'm also working with Liquitex. I like Liquitex. I like golden. There's a big difference in money in terms of golden paints than there is in Liquitex. But Liquitex are equally very creamy. They're not thin, but they're like probably like double cream consistency. I like working with Liquitex. There's something about them. If I had a choice, I would probably work with a particular brand in France that are very good at which I used to use when I was doing more designing. Anyway, so today is just about really getting in terms of and playing with colours and how you can paint. So I'm just going to do a couple of versions of painting and see where we get to. So again, washing the paintbrush. It's quite good to have. I've got a baby wipe here that I use for just cleaning off things. So again, you know, have things that you're going to need. I've also got a piece of paper here if I want to try the colours out to see if it goes. But mainly, when I do mixing, I actually mix from the tube, which is a very naughty habit to do. But because I'm coming on here, I'm doing a little bit, being a bit more sensible. So just going to start with the colours. I mix, but I mix as I go along. So I don't necessarily, unless I really need a specific colour. So what I am going to do is I'm going to, and I probably work from a lot different other, this is probably maybe a bad habit I picked up from working in industry. So I'm going to start off with the blue. And as you see, I'm with a flat brush. So I'm just starting off and I'm defining where the lines are. And what I tend to do is I work a particular area first and then I go and do the rest. But if you're going to do that, you need to think of what your colours were when you started. So again, now I'm introducing green into that blue. Still, it's wet, and the reason it's wet because I've got water on it, and I'm just trying out sort of getting the colour. So I like kind of like a mix, so it doesn't have to sit as if it's multiple. That's why I paint like this. So I feel that I can have different ranges of colours coming in. going to stop there because that's the edge of the leaf. Now I'm going to go back in with a bit more blue, and we're going to go to the next one. Now ideally I probably should start at the top, but I'm showing you how you can, and this one, although this is blue, it's even deeper. I'm not sure if you're aware of when you actually paint, instead of putting black in, you're putting in a dark, I use dark Prussian blue, or the darkest blue I can find. And today I don't seem to have any, but I generally, and because what I find is the dark blue actually still keeps the colour, whereas when you use black, it certainly it deadens a colour. So again, you're kind of bringing in, thinking about your colours. So I haven't got any, and I haven't even got brown out either. So and this kind of all goes into each other. I can come back into it in a moment, and you'll see that now my blue is very much in with the green, and it's not as bright maybe as it was before, and that is using an ultramarine blue. So at the moment I'm in ultramarine. I do have a cobalt blue, and I also do have a turquoise blue here, but I'm just going to use a little bit of the so that's the difference. That's the cobalt, and I'll just show you again, that is the turquoise. Okay, and depending on what blue you start with, so I'm going to bring in a yellow, and I've got a golden yellow here, but I also have a brighter yellow. So I've got a cadmium yellow that I've just put down, but I also have a yellow which is a lot brighter and so a bit more citrus colours. So I'm going to, so as you can see, that's now I've got to take it back to the mix. So one thing, if you're working with a bit of water, if you're just going to use acrylic paints as they are and not use any water, fine, absolutely fine, but just remember they dry out quicker. They do actually dry quite quick. It's now, that's nearly dried down there, so I'm just going to put in a bit more blue and come out there. Okay, so the reason I paint like this, well, I don't know the reason I paint like this. I think because back when I was in as a designer, back in the early 90s, you had to paint in a certain way and it had to be flat. So, and it was for textile design, that was textile designing for the fashion industry. So, but nowadays you can take any design into production, and it doesn't, and there's a lot of photographic stuff. So my designs from when I started designing to now are very different, and there's lots of multiple colours I bring in, because obviously technology and printing has got so much more in depth. So I don't actually have the image in front of me, which I probably should be working from, but I'm not. But you can see that I'm carrying the colour, because this was in quite a dark area when I originally did it. And again, going back in. So I can feel that the brush is getting drier and drier, because the water is now nearly at the end. So brushes hold quite a lot of water. Dip them in. At the moment I'm just using this one is the Emerald Green System 3 Emerald Green. And then the other green I have with Liquitex is also emerald green, but because I've got the two different yellows, that is, and I'm going to come back in with a bit of blue. So as you can see, I'm mixing as I go along. If I was doing flat, which is really probably what I used to do in the industry for actually doing designing then, is everything was flat, and you had to have a flat colour, and it was done in a specific way to be flat. Nowadays you can do anything, so I'm just applying the designs, and some of these colours are absolutely, you know, that I'm mixing are, you know, can I get them back again? Yes, I probably can. So, but I haven't actually, although I've worked out what I've been doing from the beginning. So again, it's just making sure that you can see that. So this is with the flat brush. I'm now going to go to using the round brush. So this is looking a little bit more like that, and it's kind of a little bit more angled. So again, it's just how you see things. I mean, you know, I always believe sometimes you can enhance an area with the colours you are using. And how you don't have to paint, you can use the end and you can stipple. So you could actually stipple in areas to make it a little bit more vibrant. Just remember when you're doing this what you're creating. So stippled in there. I'm going to just grab some of that more lemon yellow, and so I do a lot of mixed media stuff, which I do add painting to, and in fact coming up with some new one. Also with this, because the tendency with a round brush is to paint smooth, whereas if you look at leaves, some leaves are very smooth but some are actually jagged, and this allows a little bit more of the jagged side to come in. So I was at Wisley Gardens when I took this image, and I thought, oh, that'd make a nice design. I'm going to go in with a touch of white, just a little bit, so you can wipe it off as well. I'm going to come in with a touch of yellow, just to take it down a bit. Okay, so there was a shine, but I'm carrying on the yellow with over the top, so it doesn't make it so bright, but there was, and you can peter that out. So as I say, I'm not working specifically on anything, but it's just kind of remembering what the image roughly looked like in my mind. Okay, so you've got that. So now I'm going to use the 6 round brush, and you can see how the difference, and same method, but working with a round brush, slightly different. So I would work more into that, but again, I'm just going to just thinking which one. Okay, so we'll go from this little one here. So I'm just going to put my glasses on for that. So as you can see already, I put water on, and I'm putting how I've, so you don't have to use water with acrylics, it's your choice, but what I would say is it does make the paint sometimes flow. I'm not working with a palette knife, which is something I'll show at a later stage, working with palette knives. But what you can do is just how I use the brush. And again, using the brush, actually I got more movement when I was using the actual flat brush. I'm going to bring in a little bit of purple, because at this moment in time that's my darkest colour, even the ultramarine, so that's going to go over the top, give it a little bit of a different feel. I'm going to bring it in through the bottom so it looks like the bottom is curving underneath, and then I'm going back in with green, coming to the top. I find working with paints so relaxing, and it's the one thing, you just feel like you're in a different world when you start painting. I'm not specifically doing anything, not having to look, you know, the whole time at the subject matter. But what I am doing is I'm aware of, you know, when you look at a leaf, the lines and everything that are going on. And what's so lovely is when you mix in this way, you are building up your colour, because it's forever changing the colours when you work in this way. And whether you're dragging the colour in from another leaf or an area or even a section. So acrylics, when you mix them with water, can be quite transparent. I'm speaking from my experience, not from how anybody who is a professional who would, I mean, we all work in different ways, so it's just building up the colours. And I know what I do and some artists wouldn't do, so you're working from experience. And as long as you're painting, I mean, I do it for relaxation, I do it for design. I certainly I'm always learning. I was learning from a lady who's been doing it, she must be about 80 odd now, the other day, and really shows you how to kind of mix colours, but that I'm really not so precise on how to, but I obviously try out colours and see what's kind of like an enhancing. So again, it's all about what you love to do, and this is one of my passions, that teaching and helping people maybe make even a change in career from going from whatever they're doing to something they obviously enjoy. So again, it's all about just, and remember to keep the tip. And if you think you've done too much, just put another colour on, and then it dullens it down, and then you can take it back to what you need to take it back to. If I was looking at a leaf more intently, then that would be a different factor if I'm copying straight off. But in this case, I'm just creating really the design and how this is possibly going to repeat. And if you need to turn your work. Don't have to work, you know, in one way. Almost looks like a bird. I've decided. Look at, like an eye there and the bird at the body. So yeah. Just going to add in a little bit more. So you can see the difference by using which brush, and it lends itself to painting. Okay. So I'm Laura, and I teach painting, and I teach textiles, art textiles and design. If you like my videos, hit the bell sign and subscribe, and lots more videos coming. Bye for now.